Know who spent part of his Memorial Day weekend retweeting a debunked, I repeat, debunked conspiracy theory about an aide who tragically died in Joe Scarborough's office back when he was a congressman. He doubled down on it at a press conference yesterday. Take a look.
The second question was about your tweets about the woman who died, who you're suggesting that Joe Scarborough was responsible.
Yeah, a lot of people suggest that. And hopefully someday people are going to find out. It's certainly a very suspicious situation.
Mr. President, though, have you seen the letter that was written by her husband begging Twitter to delete your tweets, talking about how hard it's been for his family, for him to deal with that?
But I'm sure that ultimately they want to get to the bottom of it, and it's a very serious situation.
You know, they debunked all of this when the Democrats brought it up. They debunked it. They've debunked it so many times, it's insane. So, Joy, with all that's going on in the world, everything, what's up with what did Scarborough do to him that now he's the focus of the stink eye?
Well, Joe Scarborough is very tough on him, very tough. He said many things that you know a lot of people have said, and Scarborough, it just shows how effective Scarborough is. But I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, in my opinion, Trump is really behind the eight ball right now. He knows that unless they fix this election, unless his party does voter suppression and stops mail-in voting and is unsuccessful in his culture war that he's going forward with, that they will lose. And the Senate will go Democrat, the House will stay Democrat, and the president will be a Democrat. He knows that. So he is scared of that. And why is he picking on Scarborough? Just as a distraction, At the same time that he's picking on Joe Scarborough, the New York Times is printing 100,000 deaths. We're projecting another 40-something thousand deaths coming up. People are going out without masks. He's being told by various people that if he had started this, what's the word I'm looking for, the shutdown earlier, we would have saved something like, I believe it was 69,000 people. Somebody can fact check that. So he knows he's in trouble. So what does he do? He picks on some nonsensical story to go after and destroys this family. He's an outrage. Unbelievable.
So the young woman's husband has asked Twitter to delete the tweets, but they said they have no plans to. But then they say they're fact-checking him for tweeting false claims about mail-in voter fraud, and he threatened to shut them down for censoring his free speech. I don't believe, Sonny, that he can just wave his finger and shut them down. I don't think that's part of his purview. But then, you know, I'm always surprised. Am I crazy?
It's not.
No, you're not. You can't do that. And I think what is really shocking is that he is threatening to use the power of the government to shut down political enemies, right? People that he perceives to be political enemies. And that is illegal. And it is just not conduct. The tweets aren't conduct becoming of the office of the presidency. And I'm glad that Twitter is at least fact-checking his tweets, but they really need to do more because he has, you know, slandered people and defamed people and put out all of this misinformation. And I think to the demise of cordiality in our society. So I think they have to do more.
Right. There's a concern that if Twitter starts, I guess, labeling post-conservative voices will be targeted and censored. Do you agree with that, Megan? Have they ever come after you and said, we're going to shut you down because we don't like what you said?
No, I've never had anyone try and shut any of my social media posts down, but I have been called by Jack Dorsey himself over a social media post that was about me, that was incredibly violent, that was left up for a long period of time. And I made the argument that if I were liberal or I were the daughter of a liberal politician, I did believe that it would have been taken down sooner. And I do think, unfortunately, and President Trump knows what he's doing and he's using this to his benefit, there's a huge distrust between conservatives in Silicon Valley, so much to the point that that Mark Zuckerberg, about, I think, 2 years ago, actually had a summit meeting with a bunch of conservatives who flew out there to try and explain the parts of the country we represent and why. It's a very slippery slope, but at the same time, when you're having President Trump tweet out these conspiracy theories about Joe Scarborough, Pizzagate, which actually ended up leading to violence, as we all know, at a pizza parlor in Washington, D.C., where someone shot it up over a conspiracy that happened. So there's a lot of checks and balances, but at the same time, all the women on here are proponents and advocates of free speech, so I think it's a very slippery slope, unfortunately, but the president knows what he's doing, as Joy rightly pointed out at the beginning of this, and it's very wag the dog-esque for him to be going after this instead of focusing, as Joy said, on the 100,000 lives that have been lost in the past 3 months.